Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha Teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. Come on children, let us start with a new lesson in standard 4th EVS 2. And remember, when we are talking about EVS 2, what are we talking about? We are talking about the life and time of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, and the name of our textbook is itself Shiva Chhatrapati. So we are going to talk a lot about and see more stories about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in this textbook series. So now remember, in the last lesson we talked about Shaista Khan. Now in today's lesson, let us take the story forward and let us do lesson number 12, and that is the siege of Purandar and treaty with the Mughal emperor. So now let us see why the siege of Purandar happened and why did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj have to get into a treaty with the Mughal emperor. Treaty means he had to get into a understanding or a samjhauta, as you say, with the Mughal emperor. So why did this happen? So that is a story that we are going to see in this lesson, that is lesson number 12, the siege of Purandar and the treaty with the Mughal emperor. Now to understand why the siege of Purandar happened, we have to go a little bit into the past and see what happened in the previous part of the story. So come on, let's start by understanding that Shivaji had struck off the fingers of Shaista Khan, okay, with a sword. And why did he do that? Because Shaista Khan was living in Shivaji's home, that is in Lal Mahal, okay, in Pune. And he was living there for almost more than 1.5 years. And now Shivaji wanted him to vacate that place. And not only that, we also discussed how the Mughal soldiers were troubling the local people. So one night, Shivaji entered Lal Mahal, okay, in the way that he disguised himself as one of the Baratis in a Shadi ka procession. There was a wedding or a marriage procession happening and there were a lot of guests there, and Shivaji disguised himself, Shivaji and some of his men, they disguised himself as one of the guests, and they made a hole in the wall of Lal Mahal and they got into the Mahal. And now you saw how Shivaji had to kill Shaista Khan's son because Shaista Khan's son attacked Shivaji. Now after moving into the room where Shaista Khan was sleeping, Shivaji, when he entered the room with a sword, Shaista Khan got up and he started screaming, the devil, and he tried to run off. But the moment he tried to run off, what happened is Shivaji struck him with a sword and he cut off 3 fingers of the Khan. So you can see there he is trying to run off and Shivaji strikes him with a sword and Shaista Khan loses 3 of his fingers. Now the Khan could have lost his life, but he escaped with the loss of 3 fingers only. So see here, he cut off 3 of his fingers. Now if Shivaji's sword would have landed on his neck, the Khan would have lost his life. But that did not happen. Luckily for the Khan, he lost only 3 fingers and he ran away from there. But he got very demoralized. This incident took the fight out of Shaista Khan. Now Shaista Khan was totally demoralized and he was scared also. Okay, he thought that if I continue this, then Shivaji will definitely kill me. He will behead me. The next time it will not be my fingers that I will lose, but I will lose my neck. So this incident took the fight out of Shaista Khan. He was afraid that if he lost only his fingers in the first attack, Shivaji might cut off his head in the second. And having said this, he was he withdrew into himself and he did not want to get into trouble with Shivaji anymore. All this was a very big blow to the Mughal power. The Mughal empire it started crumbling under the force of the courage of Shivaji Maharaj. And this was a first serious blow to the Mughal power in Swaraj or in Maharashtra. And what happened? Shivaji had successfully bearded the lion in his own den. That is, he had entered the lion's den and he had harmed him. Alright? And what happened because of this? Naturally, what must have happened? Just like Adil Shah was very angry when Afzal Khan was killed, in the same way, the emperor was now very angry. Okay? So, after the victory, you know that Shivaji Maharaj went back and there was gunfire and the people in Maharashtra rejoiced and there was a wave of joy all over Maharashtra. But at the same time, remember that the emperor was very, very angry. Okay? He was very, very annoyed that Shivaji had tried to do him harm. But do you think Shivaji rested after this? After this triumph, what did he do? He did not sit idle at all. Because now he knew that the Aurangzeb's troops or his soldiers, they were troubling the people of Maharashtra still. Okay, so after this triumph also, or after this victory also, Shivaji did not sit idle even for one single day. And then what did he do? Why did he do it? He did it because Aurangzeb's troops were laying waste the whole of Maharashtra. That is, they were troubling the people of Maharashtra. Okay, they were looting the territories which were coming under the rule of Shivaji Maharaj. So, to bring the emperor to his senses, Shivaji carried out a raid on Surat. So now Surat is a city in Gujarat today. Alright. Now in those times, we will see that Surat was under the Mughal rule. So now he decided that I will carry out a raid on Surat so that the emperor comes to his senses or he learns a lesson. Okay, now where was Surat? See, this was the city of Surat. It was then a great center of trade in the Mughal Empire and it was a very, very rich city. Okay, Surat was a very rich city. Why? Because it was a place where people used to trade. There was a lot of business and it was bringing in a lot of money for the Mughal emperor. What did Shivaji do? Shivaji carried out the raid successfully. And what did he do? He brought home a booty worth lakhs of rupees. See, he raided that place and he collected so much of gold, so much of money. Booty means after you raid, the amount that you collect or the things that you collect is called as your booty. He brought him a booty which was worth lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Okay, and he used all this money, all these things, all this treasure he used not for his personal development, not for building palaces for himself. Okay, he used it for the sake of Swaraj. Alright, but while he did all this, Shivaji did not forsake any ethics in the raid on Surat. He spared churches and mosques. So wherever there were places of worship, that is, Shivaji was a Hindu. So naturally he had a lot of respect for temples, but that doesn't mean that he did not respect the places of worship for other religions. So he never ever harmed the places of worship for Muslims, that is mosques, or the places of worship for Christians, that is churches. So he did not harm any other place of worship. And also he never showed disrespect to women because it was his mother who had molded his personality. It was his mother who had made him what he was today. So he realized that women have to be respected and women have to be treated with a lot of love and care. Only then the society would progress. So he never showed any disrespect to women even when he carried out raids. Alright, now this raid on Surat drove Aurangzeb into a furious rage. That is, Aurangzeb got so angry. Alright, he decided that now he is going to put an end to the Maratha kingdom. He decided that now I am going to bring this Shivaji Maharaj to books. I am going to punish him and I will bring this Maratha kingdom also to an end. And for this reason, who did he send now against Shivaji? So he ordered his great general Mirza Raje Jai Singh to humble Shivaji. So now see the series now of how things are happening. Adil Shah had sent some generals, and then some Mughal generals had come to destroy and to attack and to nullify Shivaji Maharaj. And now we have a new general who's being sent by Aurangzeb, and his name was Mirza Raje Jai Singh. Now he sent Mirza Raje Jai Singh to humble Shivaji Maharaj, and along with him there was another person called as Diler Khan. Now he was a very, very trusted Sardar of Aurangzeb. So these two people, he sent them to Maharashtra in order to teach Shivaji a lesson. Where Shaista Khan had failed, where Afzal Khan had failed, where Siddhi Johar had failed, now we have two new people coming in to teach Shivaji Maharaj a lesson. So let's see what happened now. So these two, they landed in the Deccan with a huge army and unlimited funds. Unlimited funds means they had so much money with them, and the Mughal emperor provided them with so much of funds, that is money and soldiers and animals and food, etc., that now Swaraj was in real danger. Now people started feeling that how can Shivaji Maharaj, with such a small army and with a limited number of people and limited number of, you can say, money or limited number of funds, how will he face this great emperor and his army? Okay, now Swaraj was now in real danger. But remember, Shivaji Maharaj did not fight because of the money that he had. He did not fight because of the army that he had. He fought with the courage in his heart and with the love for his motherland, okay, and his love for his freedom, that is Swaraj. So let's see whether Shivaji Maharaj is able to save Swaraj, which was now in real danger. So after his return from the expedition of Surat in 1664, Shivaji Maharaj heard a very, very sad news. And what was that news? Shivaji Maharaj's father, that is Shahaji Raje, had suffered an accidental death when he was on a hunting expedition. Now you know, in the olden times, these kings, they used to go hunting, okay. Now hunting is forbidden. You cannot hunt now. It is against the law. You will be jailed. But during those times, these kings, they used to go hunting. So Shahaji Raje also had gone hunting, and he suffered an accident and he sadly passed away. And because of this, what must have happened? There was a lot of, feeling of loss and a feeling of sadness, and they were very, very saddened. Shivaji Maharaj and his mother were greatly grieved. Grieved in the sense they were very, very sad. Okay, they were in a lot of pain. Why? Because Shivaji's father and Jijabai's husband, Shahaji Raje, had passed away in an accident. What did Shivaji Maharaj do? He held his mother close to his bosom and he consoled her. He told her, you don't worry, I'm still there for you. Okay, we will still realize the dream of Swaraj. So here you can see in this picture, Shivaji Maharaj holding his mother close to himself and consoling her. Okay, let us now see what happens in the lesson next. Now we will talk about one important point in the lesson, that is siege of Purandar by the Mughal army. Now this Purandar is a fort. It was one of Shivaji's biggest and strongest of forts. Now Diler Khan knew that Shivaji could not be defeated as long as he was the master of Purandar. Okay, he knew that as soon as this Purandar fort was in Shivaji's control, you could not defeat Shivaji. Now these are all images of Purandar in recent times, okay. So in those times, these forts were very well kept. They were very well maintained. Now in today's times, some of these forts are facing a little bit of ruin, but our government is doing its best in order to protect and in order to preserve these forts. So here you can see a picture of the fort of Purandar. Now what did he do? Diler Khan, he laid siege to this powerful fort, and he had a huge army also, alright, under his command. Laying siege means what? To lay siege means to cover or to surround a particular area for a long period of time. So when you surround a particular area, for example, now these people laid siege to this fort. We also saw in the previous lessons how the army laid Adil Shah's troops, they laid siege, or Siddhi Jauhar's troops, they laid siege to the fort of Panhala. Okay. Now what happens is when you lay siege over a fort, these soldiers, they surround the fort from all sides. They do not allow people to go and come. Now on this fort you will see that there are no farmlands, there are no agricultural facilities on the fort. So food supplies etc. have to come down from the plains. Now when these people are cornered, when they are surrounded, what happens is people coming and going, food coming and going, everything comes to a halt. And because of this, slowly and slowly they have to give up the fort, because you cannot fight on an empty stomach. Okay, so keeping this in mind, Diler Khan, he laid a siege to the powerful fort of Purandar, and he had a huge army also under his command. Now each of Shivaji's forts, so you can see here Diler Khan asking his people not to let anyone in or anyone out of the fort. Okay, now whichever fort Shivaji had, in each of the fort he had a person or a Sardar who was in command of that particular fort, who was the, you can say, boss there in that particular fort. So who was the commander or in charge of the Purandar fort? It was Murar Baji. He was the commander or the in charge of the fort of Purandar. He was a determined fighter who would not easily yield to threats. Now these Marathas were fierce fighters. They were fearless, bold people. They would not care for their lives if they had to protect their king or the property of the king. Okay, so now this person also was a determined fighter. He would not give up very, very easily. He would not submit to these Mughal soldiers very easily. He was also supported by brave troops. Now not only he was brave, his troops or his soldiers were also equally brave. So with their help, Murar Baji decided to defend the fort. He said that now I am going to defend the fort. I am not going to give up. Okay, I will not surrender to Diler Khan and his enemy, but I will stand and I will fight till the time there is breath in my body. That is, till the time there is life in my body, I will stand up and I will fight against these Mughal soldiers. Alright. So with their help, he decided to defend the fort of Purandar. Now Diler Khan, he had come with a huge army, and he had lots of funds, and he also had lots of arms and ammunition. So Diler Khan's guns went into action. Alright. Now fiery cannonballs began to drop on the fort. Now Murar Baji and his men, can you imagine what must have happened? They held on. Can you see here? See, they have broken or they have bombed the fort. And now there is a huge hole which has been created in the compound wall of the fort. And these people are entering inside the fort now. Now the first bastion on the Machi collapsed under gunfire. So you can see how these people, they used their cannons. Now cannons, they fire very big shaped, you can say, balls. They are called as cannon balls. Okay, and these cannon balls, when fired, they can cause a lot of damage to even very thick walls. So now there was a part which is called as a bastion. Now what is a bastion? It is a kind of fortification, or it is a kind of a wall, okay, which is used in order to protect a structure from attack. So now the bastion collapsed. The first bastion collapsed. You can see how it has a big hole, huge hole in it. And now Diler Khan's troops, they entered through that hole in the bastion and they captured the lower fort. So you can see here how the Marathas, what did they do then? they shifted to the upper fort and they continued to fight. That is, they did not give up. All right, they shifted to the upper fort and they continued to fight. Now, Diler Khan was watching all this happening from his camp. Now, Murar Baji was furious with rage. He was very angry that they had damaged such a powerful fort. So, furious with rage, Murar Baji decided to attack the Mughal troops with a select contingent of 500 men. Now, there were thousands of Mughal soldiers, but Murar Baji decided that he would take only 500 men with him and he would counter attack the Mughal troops. That is, he would attack back. Okay, so what did he do? He opened the gates of the upper fort and shouting their war cry, Hara Hara Mahadev, the Mavlas fell on the Mughal troops. That is, they attacked the Mughal troops. So they opened the gates and 500 of them, like fierce lions with swords in their hands, they rushed out and they shouted their war cry. So wherever they used to go to war, they used to have a war cry. What is a war cry? A war cry is a kind of a slogan which brings josh or which brings life into the soldiers. So they screamed or they shouted, Hara Hara Mahadev, and they attacked the Mughal soldiers. Now there was a battle which lasted not for a long time but for a very, very short time. And see, these 500 Maratha soldiers, they routed the huge Mughal army which fled towards Diler Khan's camp. So these 500 soldiers, the Mughal army which had thousands of soldiers, was no match at all for these 500 brave Mavlas. So that is what I told you, Shivaji and his men, they did not fight with funds, they did not fight because of the weapons they had. They fought because of the love for the motherland that they had in their heart, and they also fought because of their bravery and their courage and their character. Okay, so now all these Mughal soldiers, they turned around and they ran towards Diler Khan's camp. Murar Baji did not let them go very easily. So Murar Baji followed them in hot pursuit. Murar Baji chased them. So with his troops, he entered the camp of Diler Khan and he wrought havoc there. Routing havoc means what? Creating a big mess. Okay, causing a lot of damage. So now these people, these troops, they were already running away. Okay, the soldiers of the Khan were running away, but these people, they entered the camp also, and there they started attacking them, and there they started neutralizing them, they started killing them. Okay, so now you can see how these 500 soldiers have proved to be very, very expensive for the huge Mughal army. So Murar Baji, now you see how he started fighting, and the cries and shouts filled the whole camp. So in a great hurry, Diler Khan mounted his elephant and looked ahead. So Diler Khan, what did he do? He heard that there's a lot of mess happening in my camp. So immediately he got up and he mounted his elephant. Now the person who's sitting on the elephant is always got a better position than the people who are fighting on foot, okay? Because he is on top and he can see all of them and he can fire arms from there. Now from the position where he was sitting on, he saw Murar Baji fighting very, very bravely. So there was Murar Baji hacking the soldiers to pieces. Okay, now if you think about it now, you will feel that, oh, it was such a very, very cruel thing to do. I mean, violence is not a good thing. Killing each other is not a good thing. But remember that you have to also protect yourself. If you do not counterattack, the enemy will finish you off. But always remember, violence is never a good option. So Murar Baji was hacking the soldiers to pieces, that he was killing them. His sword moved like lightning. Like lightning. You know how lightning comes in a flash? So in the same way, his sword was moving like lightning. It was cutting throats and breaking heads and piercing the hearts of the enemy. No one could stop him or hold him in check. So now he had become so angry that there was no way in which anyone could stop him. Okay, and you can see Diler Khan was watching all this with great admiration, and he was wondering, how are these people so very brave? Okay, so all this was happening to save the fort of Purandar. So now children, there is a lot which is remaining to be done, but then what we will do is, if we do the entire lesson today, then you will also get bored and it will become a very long video. So let's do one thing, let's cut this video short over here and let us see the next part. That is, we will talk about Morarbaji's incomparable valor, or that is courage, in the next video which I put up. So come on, what all things did we do in this video? We took a look at Shaista Khan and how Shaista Khan was destroyed and how he suffered at the hands of Shivaji Maharaj, and then how Shivaji Maharaj had to raid Surat. Why he had to raid Surat? Because Aurangzeb's troops were causing a lot of trouble in Maharashtra, and because he raided Surat, he looted Surat and he came away with a booty worth lakhs of rupees. Aurangzeb was furious. And what did he do? He sent his general Mirza Raje Jai Singh along with the Sardar Diler Khan to teach Shivaji a lesson. And then what did Diler Khan do? With his huge army, he laid siege to the fort of Purandar. And who was in charge of Purandar? It was Morarbaji. And we saw how Diler Khan's soldiers, they were successful in entering the fort of Purandar and capturing the lower fort. But the Marathas, they gave equal answers to them. That is, they gave them when they were very angry, okay, because of the damage done to the fort, they retaliated. And what happened? Now there was no stopping Morarbaji. Even Diler Khan was full of admiration for the great deeds of Morarbaji. Okay, so when we meet next time, children, we will continue this lesson. Till then, watch the entire video, and after you finish watching the video, there are some tasks also for you to do. So please complete those tasks also. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.